Hey, and welcome back. This is video 2 of the Edjinote tutorial. This video is on how to create a lesson within Edjinotes. The first thing that you're going to have to do is sign back in. Once you sign back in, you're going to come to this dashboard right here. A little about this dashboard. On the left, you're going to see recently created lessons, bookmarks, some ideas for lessons, some strategies. In the middle, this is going to remind you how to make a lesson or a reading. And on the right, this is where all your drafts are going to be. Later on, when you actually create lessons, they're going to show up also in the middle. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is show you where to go to create a lesson, and that is at New Reading. You're going to click on that, and that's going to allow you to start working within the platform. So you can create a title, you can make it public or private. Now, if you make your lesson public, that means other people can see your lesson. They cannot see the comments that anyone within your class wrote within your lesson. So the only thing they'll see is the shell, your lesson. There's no interaction between your students and the outside world there. You could select a grade level, a subject, and then you're working within the working platform of Edji. This is where your new reading is going to go. There's several ways to add content here. My favorite is just to copy and paste my content in here. Even if I'm working with a PDF, I like to copy and paste it in there so I can manipulate the way it looks in Edji. If you bring in a PDF, it's stagnant. It's going to look exactly what is like on your PDF. So that's something to keep in mind. You could add images or pictures by clicking this button. You could add PDFs in there, and you can also add questions to go along with your lesson. Notice down at the bottom you could add a new reading resource. So say that your lesson is to examine 3 poems and comment on each one of these poems. You can make that happen all within the same Edji lesson. So that's pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to give you some time to fill in these areas, and then once you're ready to move on, we'll continue on with the Edji tutorial. All right, so I created my lesson. It's called The History Behind Don McLean's Song, American Pie. There's a lot of history behind the lyrics here, and I find that this is a great way to bring in music into the classroom, into a content, and I thought this would be good for the language arts and history at the high school level. I did make this public, that way other teachers can also use it and make changes if they feel necessary. Alright, so what I did is I put in the song lyrics, and then I added the image of the album cover for Don McLean's album that American Pie was on, and now I'm going to start manipulating the content a little bit. I could add more pictures, I could add questions, really I could do a lot here. So if you look at all the lyrics, maybe there's something that sticks out. Maybe a lot of this stuff sticks out to the student, and they have a lot to say. Later on, I'm going to show you how to put in overall directions for this assignment. But right now, I'm just looking to provide individual questions within the content here. So one of the biggest taglines that we have in this lyrics is the day the music died. So I'm going to highlight that, and by highlighting that, that allows me to, if I want to change the format, I can. If I want to add a link to it, so say I want to add the actual song, the YouTube song of this, I can do that. But in this case, I want to add a question. So I'm going to click add a question, and it's automatically going to embed it inside the content. And then I'm going to type in the question, what happened the day the music died? So here's what I highlighted. This is the question that goes with it. Students are able to comment on it. I think this is very powerful because A, it shows them an important piece of this literature here, but B, it also gets to check for understanding. So here, if they do not know the answer, maybe they could show you participation by selecting an emoji for that. So maybe a sad face. Say they do know the answer and they don't mind typing it out in text form. They can answer it with a typing out in text form. say it's very long explanation they want to give, they don't feel like texting it out, they can also record their audio. So that's a simple question. We go down, we could add more questions. For example, here's jester, and I want to insert a question. Here we could type in who was the jester, or who is the jester, if you want it present tense. So who was the jester? And here I want to unselect emojis because if they know it, I just want them to say the answer or type the answer. All right, so that is how you add questions within your lesson. Notice down at the bottom, if you want to do that whole new reading source and you want them to analyze 3 different song lyrics, you can do that if you would like. Alright, so this brings us to the end of video number 2, which is creating the content for the lesson within Edji. Our next video, number 3, will be on how to share it out to your classroom.